Hey, I want to say good evening to everyone that's going to be tuning in tonight. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the differences between Prince Hall Freemasonry and non-Prince Hall Freemasonry. And I'm saying that because now in my own visitation, in my own doing, my own research, and I encourage everybody to do their own little thing, there is truly a difference in masonry when it comes between PHA and other non-PHA members, including mainstream. So we're just going to say non-Prince Hall Masons because there's truly some differences in the different jurisdictions. Wherever you may go as a Mason, there are truly differences. And tonight we're going to be discussing what are those differences. And I've done my own research. Greetings, brothers, greetings. I've done my own research, and I keep telling you, brothers, please, whatever you do your own research. And then what happens is nobody can come to you with this craziness. And when you're able to do that, man, Mason becomes so much better. So tonight's topic is what is the difference between PHA and non-PHA Masons? What is the difference? So give me just a second, and we're gonna get right on this here because I got a call tonight, and I was like, "Really? You okay? All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got right here." Hold on, give me just a second, making this call. First of all, blessings and greetings to everyone, to my brothers, to my Islam brothers, assalamu alaikum. You know, shalom to everyone. Peace and be well. Definitely want to send a big shout out. Greetings, brother. How you doing?
How are you, sir?
I'm all right. Everything good there on the East Coast?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. How about how I'm doing with you? You hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Every now and then you got to speak up a little louder. All right. Yeah, so if you want to go on, we on live right now. So tonight's topic is going to be what is the difference between Prince Hall Masons and non-Prince Hall Masons. And then we're going to do a little Q&A between yourself and me about some other things that I think that's going to be pretty interesting and definitely going to get it off popping. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to give your opinion first, and I'm going to give mine next. What do you see as far as the difference than Prince Hall Masonry and everybody else across the board, including mainstream?
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull you up on YouTube while I'm talking to you. Hold on my phone.
All right. Oh yeah, I got some questions for this brother tonight. Greetings, brother Gilmore. Greetings. Who is that? Brother Palms. Greeting. Brother Wise, Brother House, Brother Jackson, Brother Biggs. Greetings to all who's coming up tonight. Appreciate you coming on. There is no difference, same obligation. Ta, Brother House. I got a surprise for you, Brother House. Brother House, I got a surprise for you, brother. You think that there's no difference, huh? All right. Okay. Brother, okay. What does brother say? Brother Raheem, what you got? Brothers Blue here. Salam. Oh, okay. Assalamu alaikum to you. All right. Christopher Jackson, I'm live. Okay, Brother Jackson. All right, now you got to tell me, what do you see in differences between PHA and non-PHA Masons? Brother Jackson? Well, he's not on yet.
Okay, now what is your topic? You say your topic. I don't know. I hope I'm not garbled and everyone can hear me okay.
You're a little bit. You're a little bit garbled.
Okay. You said the difference between Prince Hall affiliation and non-Prince Hall.
Right.
One of the differences that I know of, I've never been Prince Hall, but my research of everything, not necessarily through the brothers, but through the logistics of it, is that you first have to understand what an affiliation is versus the jurisdiction.
Okay.
Affiliation means that you must be active. That's really what the law of it is. Every Mason must be, everyone who has taken the 3 degrees must be active, affiliated with some Masonic body. The jurisdiction is who has government over you in a particular area of space.
Right.
Prince Hall is a independent paid-for entity, just like International is.
Okay.
Mainstream is an independent entity that has ties overseas to a governing body. That's what they call UGLE.
Okay.
Paul desired to have recognition with UGLE for whatever their reason, and not operate as a body itself. That's one of the reasons why when they introduce themselves, it's, hi, I'm Brother Tony Muhammad, Prince Hall, Prince Hall Affiliate,
right?
PHA, because there's also Prince Hall organized, and one of my former jurisdictions down in Florida is Prince Hall Grand Lodge, which is Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
So I don't have an issue with anyone in anything that they have an issue with is when you try to push off what you do as being the gospel on the top shelf.
Right.
This is why I spoke before when I said competition has been something that's been embedded in us since the 3rd grade.
Right.
We all want to rank ourselves, rank and file ourselves. I'm such and such. I'm this, I'm that, to make yourself look better, versus dealing with how we meet, talk, and act. We all do it the same way. It's almost like it's a class to where, the answers come the same way. It's brothers in the group that are Prince Hall, but I know what it is that they can and cannot do for their own safekeeping, and it's okay. When you take allegiance to something, you have to be faithful and loyal to that. But when you say that you are a Mason, you have no jurisdiction.
Right.
Because you're a Mason everywhere.
Everywhere.
You're a Mason all over the world. Whoever opens the door unto you, you are received.
Right.
So sure, the obligations are different because Paul has a particular way and drill and drama of doing things so you can know exactly who they are. That's really what the catechism was for, because a lot of men couldn't read and write. And when you were a part of Prince Paul's body, that's how they found out who you were.
Right.
And so, but that's not what makes you a Mason. Who tells you what makes you a Mason? My obligation.
Okay.
See, how you act is what makes you a Mason. So the difference between a Prince Hall Mason and a non-Prince Hall Mason can only be seen by his behavior and his consistency by honoring what he says he is through his obligation.
Okay.
Not nothing about where he got his papers. England recognizes me. Actually, England recognizes you. That's a lie.
Ooh.
England says that you are legitimate.
Ooh.
But England has never said they recognize you, because if the people under England recognize you or don't recognize you, then that means that they're not honoring what England says.
Ooh.
Because it's a problem for me that a lot of Prince Hall says what they say, but all 50 states don't recognize them.
Okay.
How is that? How is that? So instead of us getting into the habit of trying to prove ourselves and prove what we are and who's legitimate and who's this, that, and the other, it's like a county officer versus a sheriff, a city officer. You both want to try to speak on who has the better rank and stuff. Okay, well, California State Police has more jurisdiction than the city police. Well, the county of California, the county of Los Angeles, has more jurisdiction than the city police of actual Los Angeles LAPD. But you're all law enforcement.
Right.
All of you can arrest. All of you can do what you need to do. But what is it amongst black men that we have to always stand up and say, well, I'm better, I'm first, I was here before you. I did this. I did that. So and so recognizes me. You know, that's an emotional thing. That's a pride thing. That's why we always pay for the stuff that we have to be out in the street. You know, look at that $100,000 car, but no garage. You know, you got on $30,000 worth of jewelry, all the top shelf clothes. But the people who you out here shining for, who you impressing? But you sitting next to a white man who you don't even know he's a multimillionaire, a billionaire, and he's sitting up here shopping at Walmart, wearing Tom McCann shoes, you know, New Balance. You know, you want to tell people, look, I got these Yeezys on, I got these shoes on, I got those shoes on, you know, and I'm around those. I have clients like that who are multimillionaires, but they don't display it like that.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So I was going to say, I see where you're going with that. I just want to add a little tad. I have a principal, and their obligation is torqued just a little bit.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about, Phil?
Huh?
Who you talking about, Phil?
No, I have a Prince Hall. I have a Prince Hall Masonic ritual, and their obligation is just torqued just a little bit. And I say that, And I say that because what I've learned is that when you become and you're coming from the ancient free and accepted Masons or international modern free, usually you have to say that you're cutting all ties. They don't even want you speaking to them brothers Masonically anymore. Now, if I'm wrong, and any of you who are out there watching today and you happen to be Prince Hall, tell me, Brother Hawkins, that's not true. But from the documents that I actually have and have read and seen, that's a fact. And I don't mind sharing them. You're right. Not all obligations are the same.
I'm not, if anyone can hear me, I'm not receiving any type of audio at all. It's back and forth. It's garbage.
Hold on just a second. Let me try this here. Hold on. What about now?
Yeah, I can hear you. The video is stopped. It's basically trying to stream, but I don't need to see you because I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just basically saying that the difference is what I found is the difference in their obligation. It's just a tad bit different. And I found also that when you are leaving your jurisdiction and becoming a member of Prince Hall, PHA, they require that you cut off all ties Masonically with that individual.
Remember, I told that. I said there is an action that you denounce everything that you ever part of when you become that. See, one thing that I studied a long time ago when I was getting ready to embark on masonry, I had the Prince Hall, and on the front of it. Now, listen to me, everyone. Prince Hall, Prince Hall affiliation, you could almost parallel with the Knights of Columbus affiliation because you take an oath to an individual. That oath is to Prince Hall, not the principles that Prince Hall had. We're talking about to the man, and that can't happen. You have to be loyal to the order, the society itself. You know, have been more loved when mainstream with who they ask, well, you Prince Hall. I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, and then everything, you know, and then we continue on like we're doing. But there are brothers who, you know, I've met brothers and I hardly ever introduce myself first. I wait until you speak. You know, I say, how you doing, brother? You know, we grip. Yeah, I'm so-and-so, Prince Hall. How you doing? Pleasure to meet you, brother. Well, I'm such, St. John Grand Lodge, you know, Chicago enough. Oh, you from over there with them jokers, them clandestine. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Yeah, because that's something that's taught. You bypassed my entire character, my entire presentation to you. I came in peace, but but you want to continue talking with violence, with irregularity. So how do we meet part and act, plumb, level, and square?
So,
but you want to handle me a different way.
So, brother Jackson, Ismail Jackson said, this is Ismail Jackson just a couple of minutes ago. He said the Blue Lodge, all obligations are the same. So you're telling me Prince Hall has a different obligation. I'm not saying, I'm saying that the obligation is torqued just a little bit. All the words are not necessarily the same word. That's what I'm saying.
Well, see, what Ishmael, because Ishmael's my brother, one of the things that you have to pay attention to, that, like I said, there's a reason why some of the verbiage is different in Prince obligations, because that's how you identify one another. You know, is when so when you're talking to a brother and you meet a brother and you talk and and you're asking these different questions, you can tell that he's a Prince Hall Mason. It's no different than when you read from and as what they call a four-letter Mason, when you ask him from whence he comes, and he says,
the Lodge of Holy Saints, John Jerusalem. But when you have certain drill and drama, you can tell where a man is from based upon what he's speaking on. But see, when you ask a whole lot of different questions, all that does is want to show somebody what you know. That doesn't mean you're a Mason. Just because you can remember everything that's rattled off in a catechism, that doesn't make you a Mason. That just means you remember something. I just said it last week. You can teach a dog. You can teach a dog to put a ball in the basketball hoop. So that's
You're
not
killing me
impressive.
with that dog thing, man. You're killing me with it.
That's not impressive because you know how to remember something. And a lot of people are enamored with that. Enamored with that. So, I'm not concerned with what degrees a person holds. I'm not concerned with how an individual can carry this, that, and the other, or what he knows. It's what it is. It's your effectiveness. In Scripture, it's called not that you know what it is. How many people do we know that quote Scripture, quote ritualistic, know songs all day and night, but it's not a part of them? See, all of the individuals on this call, if your member is circumcised, you're circumcised to keep your organ clean. But esoterically, that's what practice is what makes you a Jew.
Right.
Because the circumcision of the penis is to keep your organ clean. But if you don't have circumcision of your heart, then you are in trouble. If your heart is not circumcised, you are in grave danger. If the words in the books and the rituals do not coincide with what they're not congruent with your heart, then you just a block of wood with an arrow on it, just pointing to go in this direction. Leaders, Masons, and Masonic conduct pave ways, just like a boat going through the water. You can see which way it came because the ripples are leaving a path, or walking in the sand, or driving in the sand, or pulling something in the sand. It leaves a trail clearly cut so others can follow. But when you don't, when you have sketchy, you have suspect behavior, you can't leave a clear path because we don't know if it's true or not. That's why I said before, if anyone was to accuse you of being a Mason or an Eastern Star, is there enough evidence to convict you? Or would they say it's a mistaken identity?
Yeah. So check this out. There was a brother asking in regards to let me see. I think the wife is calling me. Y'all gonna have to continue.
Go ahead, brother. Because I can't see anything. Oh, yes, I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, get one short wife. Go ahead. All right, brother Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I gotta take care of the wife. She calls, I gotta go. But
That's right.
but anyway. So one brother said on here. Let me go back a little bit. He was like saying, oh, he asked the question: do all brothers meet on the level? Do all brothers meet on the level, depart on the square? And I'm gonna say yes. You should. All brothers should do that. That's the common bond between all masonry. I mean, all Masons. If you're not able to do that, then you just hating on the next guy. You should. That's just out of respect. As a Mason, you should do that because Masons regard no man for his religious beliefs. So, if it does that, then you're all on the level. You all should be on the square at all times when you're speaking to each other. And not
Hold on
only
a second.
that,
I'm sorry. I need to answer this question because a statement was made. I'm looking at the feed.
go ahead.
Brother Biggs,
Uh huh.
he asked a question about, he said something about that I said that you shouldn't be sitting next to a brother
Uh huh.
on child support in the lodge. Now, what I said last time, brother, unless you want to go back and go through the feed, was I believe I said, how are you allowing brothers into the lodge who owe child support but want to be Masons? I may not have said that, but asking that question, I'm also saying, how are you in the lodge as a Mason and you owe child support? Now, you already stated that you're not behind, so that statement didn't apply to you. Now, here's where my problem lies, because this ain't directly related to you in negativity, Brother Biggs. But in all thy getting, you have to get understanding. If you were unclear about what I said, and then you retyped unclarity and irregularity in the feed, and another brother told you that's not what I said, and then you said, well, I'm not behind, how do you still not take fault in that and say, well, you know what, my bad, I was wrong? That's where confusion comes in at. We take good men and make them better.
That's
Now you're
right.
speaking about how can I judge you, black man? Actually, I didn't judge you. I judged your behavior. Now, if you owe child support, that means you're irresponsible. You're not taking care of your business.
Uh
But
huh.
you can stand at the altar and tell us that you will honor and do this, that, and the other, that you will not defame, you will not fraud, you will not wrong. Well, if you can fraud and wrong and not honor your children, how can we expect you to honor, be right, and uphold your brothers, people who are not your brothers?
Now, brother
Isn't that,
Jackson.
yes, sir.
Now, brother Biggs, I'm gonna have to come in. I'm gonna have to come to his rescue. If you read the feed, he did say, "My mistake. I apologize."
No, I just saw it. I
Oh,
just saw it. No, I just saw it. I was
okay.
just responding because, like, it's not a slight on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a slight on him. So, I don't detract what I said. I'm just speaking if that's how he felt.
Oh,
So
okay,
we good.
got you.
So yeah, so we good. He said he apologized, no problem.
Uh
So
huh.
we can move on. We can move on. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. So tell me this here. Well, let's talk about the Eastern Stars for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my question would be, when did the Eastern Stars, as far as African Americans are concerned, came on the scene? Do you know anything about that?
Well, from the history that I know of, from us as a people, I know that Thornton Jackson basically takes credit for that,
Mm-hmm.
being in the days back in the 18, I want to say, I can't remember, it's 18 something, for Easters, for OES and Prince Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was it was not something that they did in the East because they just didn't do it in Europe, but they did it here because the sisters, from its creation, from McCoy, etc., that the sisters have some type of semblance of knowing where their men were at and being able to be a part and parcel of us, because it's hard, some years back, you could just tell your woman you're going to be out all night and you can't tell her nothing. She ain't trying to hear that. So, OES was created as an adoption to where brothers could take care of, could know what they were doing. So brothers could cover them and the sisterhood could have something to do in parallel to us, as being a helpmeet from a different body. But, as I've always said, an Eastern Star by her character should be that of how the character of Makita was.
But I'm gonna share this with you. Did you know Robert McCoy, when he first organized the Eastern Stars here in the United States, his objective in the beginning was to keep an eye on the daughters and the widows and the sisters and wives?
That's right. That's written in the lectures.
Yeah.
That's written in the history.
Right. Then his reasoning for having a patron in there was so if something goes on, he can come back and tell the brothers, hey, your wife, your daughter, your mother, your whatever, these are what's taking place.
That's why that's why Prince Hall calls it legacy.
Ah, okay.
Because see, when you have a lot of sisters that are part of the order that are very good women, and they have no ties in the order. So many of those are the ones who don't respect male leadership, because who you gonna talk to when they getting out of hand? See, if my daughter's in there, my daughter's gonna honor what I said. My wife is gonna honor what I said. My sister's gonna honor what I said. Because I'm her covering. But see, that tie, we don't even honor that tie anymore. That's what's always strange to me. We will stand strong and speak about a lot of things, but if I get suspended, my wife ain't going nowhere. But that's the law. If I get suspended, my wife has no covering. She's gone.
Right.
We don't honor that anymore. We don't do a lot of that.
Yeah, but that's all jacked up now, bro. It's so jacked up now, it's unreal.
We pick and choose what parts of the bylaws we want to honor. We pick and choose what parts of the landmarks we want to respect. We pick and choose what parts of anything that's going on. I have, like you spoke about the obligation. There's a difference between an obligation and an oath. There's a severe difference. The oath you take to God, the obligation you take to man. That's what makes us different from the Greeks, as they call the so-called black Greeks. I say so-called because I've never seen a black Greek before. I've only seen European Greeks. So that's not to take away from them, but I, just ask the simple question: how did you become a black Greek? You're either a Greek or you're black, so-called black.
Right.
But, they take obligations. They take obligations to man. We take oaths and obligations. So,
brother.
Yes, sir.
Check that feed out. Brother Biggs asked the questions. Brother Jackson, do those mainstream invite you to their homes? I am PHA, and you are welcome at any time. So his question is do mainstream Masons invite you to their home?
Well, I never know that people are Masons until we start talking and dialoguing. I get invited to homes just based off of who I am. Sitting up talking about Masonry is a different story. See, as I said before, the only secrets that we have in the order is what's in the treasurer's report. Other than that, everything that we do is the same. We have the same order of business. We hold the same 2 hours. How you may do something in the lodge is different. How you may approach the altar is different. How you may approach the secretary, how you may walk in the room is different. So, I've seen brothers where everybody in the room got a covering on their head. I've seen rooms where only the worshipful master has a hat. I've seen rooms where everybody got a collar. I've seen rooms where, it's all kinds of stuff going on.
But Brother Jackson, tonight, I got one for you, but I can't share it online. But tonight, after this is over, I'm going to call you up. I got something for you. You're going to look at things a whole different way after I share this with you. But that's between me and you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So knowing that Brother Moore, if I'm not mistaken, brought Eastern Stars to the United States, knowing that Thornton Jackson introduced it to the sisters, African American sisters. What do you think, and where do John G. Jones fall into place as far as the Eastern Stars are concerned? I'm gonna share my information with you after you speak.
I mean, everyone has their own place in history,
Uh huh.
uh, predecessors, what have you. It's all about what you did with that. It's like, you know, a lot of people will argue, like, okay, prime example, many of you all are in California.
Uh huh.
So now the top in Los Angeles. So now the topic of conversation is, well, is LeBron gonna be better than Kobe out there? That's not his job. LeBron's job is to come out there, turn the program around, win some championships, and keep it moving
Uh
to
huh.
continue his own legacy. He shoot like Kobe. Well, before you said that, who was Kobe shooting like? Oh, he shoot like Mike. Well, before Mike did it, who was Mike like? So everybody has their own place in what happens. I always called it putting an amplifier on something. You
Mm-hmm.
know, before you were just speaking, and then you had to be able to accelerate your tone for people to hear you. Well, then they came out with a microphone, and then they came out with an equalizer. Then they came out with the amplifier. Then they started making more and more speakers.
Uh
You
huh.
know, so it's like you stopped living in a box home. You
Mm-hmm.
started putting rooms in the home. Then you started putting closets in the home. Then you started putting bathrooms in the room. Then
Mm-hmm.
you put a second floor. Everything has additions.
Mm-hmm.
We call them accessories. We call them accessories. We call them it's something else that you're putting extra. You know, so it's almost like putting makeup on something, but we miss the word makeup. What is makeup? It's a lie.
Mm-hmm. You said makeup is a
Yeah.
lie.
No, no, no. I mean, seriously, think about it.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
make up a story? Did you make up a story
Uh huh.
to tell the police? Yeah, I made up a story to tell the police. Okay. Did you make up your face to fool Tony? Yeah, I made up my face to fool Tony. I didn't want him to know what I really looked like. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want them to know what the real story was.
Uh huh.
How is that different? But nobody ever wants to admit or honor that.
Right.
When you make, like, and I say this to women all the time. That's what it's called. We call it enhancements.
Mm-hmm.
When you start putting enhancements
Enhancements.
on
Yeah.
something, you make it different than what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
We use different words. It's called embellishment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we start to add on. We say things to, as I call it, tickling the ears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do a lot of things because we want to seem, and it's like I call the Stephen A. Smith persona.
Mm-hmm.
You have okay, Stephen A. Everybody knows you're an Omega. Okay, you come from this place, but for whatever reason, you feel that in order to have people really look at you as someone of a high authority in the intellectual world, you need to speak different words that you really don't use in common conversation
Mm-hmm.
to make the situation sound better.
Okay.
I went through that one time where I had a write up, and the man said that I tumultuously and boisterously did something.
He.
And I said, wait, no. He said, I tumultuously and boisterously did
Uh
something,
huh.
and I was draconian in my behavior. And I was like, wait a minute. I did what? So I looked up all three words. Being tumultuous means that you do something without regard.
Uh huh.
Being boisterous means that I was being loud.
Mm-hmm.
And being draconian means that I was trying to suck the life out of a situation.
Okay.
You know, Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
boisterous, being loud, tumultuously, tumultuous. And I was like, really? So I said, okay, but this is why they use Black's Law Dictionary when you hear certain terms and
Mm-hmm.
verbiage in the law, because that's showing you, okay, well, he studied the law. Sometimes you could say something like, oh, he's educated,
Uh huh.
versus speaking a particular way. And it's like, oh no, he don't know anything. So um, I don't. Some things I personally, I treat everything in life
Mm-hmm.
like a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
If I cannot see a return in what I'm going to deposit in, I don't entertain it. That's in a relationship. Go ahead.
So check this out. One brother Finley just posted, what is, oh no, he said, why is a charter from the UGLE important? Let me say this here. A charter from the UGLE means nothing to a lot of Masonic bodies, but it means a whole lot to other Masonic bodies. And the reasoning is because the word on the streets, as they would say, is that if your charter from your lodge doesn't come from those 3 existing grand lodges, then you're not legit. Now hold that thought for a minute. If that's true, then your question must be, who formed those 3 so-called grand lodges that says that, and they don't even say it, that you say your charter has to come from? Because,
well, if I may,
go ahead.
Firstly, why is the charter from UGLE important? You have to remember, if those who may have or may not have done the research, at one time in America, when it was still the Antients and the Ancients in England, there was the Grand Lodge of England, and there was another Grand Lodge in England. UGLE, such by the formation and union of the ancients and the moderns. They were different. For 3 years, they compiled on what they wanted to do. When you're talking about the Apple Tree Tavern and all the Goose and Gridiron, that was still speculative masonry in a certain aspect.
Right.
Expelled, suspended Masons met and said they were going to take the operative character of brick masonry and turn it into speculativeness. From the ancient York body, which was what we know as ancient York Masons, which is what you know of as PHOs.
Okay.
And so the real Masonic creed was from 926 AD of ancient York. So now there were 23 and 24 3 and 4 letter bodies over here in America.
Okay.
Some of them were doing their own thing. What Prince Hall did by forming what African Grand Lodge was doing in forming their own thing was not anything new.
Correct.
Because George Washington and his body did the same thing.
They did.
So when UGL was formed, they sent word out to America and said, listen, anyone who has a grand body and would desire to be a part of us, of the United Grand Lodge of England, be they 3 or 4 letter, submit your names and your rosters and your roles, and you will be a part of us. And anyone who does not,
you will not be a part of us.
Anyone who does not will be considered clandestine. Right. Which means they will be considered a rogue entity because UGLE recognizes itself as a governing body.
Now hold that thought, because the UGLE they will not say they're the police of Freemasonry, but everybody else put that on them. And because one brother not long ago wrote them and asked them, hey, are you the police of Freemasonry? And they plainly wrote back, said, no, every jurisdiction in the body of Freemasonry is sovereign. They do their own thing.
Yes. Well, one thing that happens, I have seen a lot of brothers try to speak for England and try to speak as if they're in, tight cahoots with the body of England and what have you. Or they'll get online and they say, oh, you one of them, so you can less than because it say that online. Well, actually, brother, if any of the brothers have made a move to purchase a Coils encyclopedia, because, I'm here in Chicago with lawyers. So I used to tell brothers, I said, if you're looking for something, send me the money. I'll get it for you, get it to you without you having to go through all that time and that extra paying and all the other stuff.
Right.
I said, but if you have a Coils encyclopedia and you look up the word clandestine, the reason why I said Coils is because Coils is a Masonic individual, and also Coils is an up-to-date mode of Masonic education and what things are through the history. Now, you can't, there are a lot of Masonic bodies, but many people are led to believe that UGLE is the only one. There are more Masonic bodies. There are different Grand Lodges. See, I'm a part of SOGLIA, the Society of Grand Lodges and Alliance. Well, our Grand Lodge is getting ready to be, but I'm an honorary member in Houston, Texas, at the Abraham Grand Lodge, and they're a part of SOGLIA. So that's the Society of Grand Lodges and Alliance. We're talking about a body of Grand Lodges from all over the world that get together and we do what we do. You know, when you want to start trying to take a stronghold of something and saying, well, if so and so don't recognize you, then you clandestine. I'm okay, brother. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for real.
You know, there's nothing that I need to prove to you, because it's strange to me that you can drive past 35 churches, but you'll never go in any one of them and say, well, you ain't no real, you know, if the Missionary Baptists don't recognize you, then you ain't no real Baptist church. You know, that's foolishness.
Right.
And it's a lot of wasted time. You know, I'm not concerned with who recognizes me, other than the people that I help.
Now that's the most important thing right there. But check this out. So there's a book out called Prince Hall Freemasonry. It's called Prince Hall Freemasonry, the secret writings. And brother, I'm gonna tell you, one of the brothers that come on here all the time, I think it's brother Lowe. He hooked me up. He told me to go check this book out. And I'm gonna say this here to anyone who has not gotten that book, Prince of Freemasonry, The Secrets Within, needs to go get that book. And I'm gonna tell you why you need to go get that book. Brother Jackson, I think I sent you some information on it. And it said in this particular book, I want to make sure I get the page right. It says that Prince Hall had to pay some back money in this book in regards to what it owed the Grand Lodge of England, the United Grand Lodge of England. And this is why you have some that are recognized and some that are not in that whole thing. And I thought I'm not paying you to recognize me. I'm not giving you one red penny to say I recognize Hawkins.
That's the whole thing. When you have a mindset of people, it's almost like the Pied Piper. When you have the people who feel like, well, listen, if you're not here, if we don't say you good, then you ain't good out here in the world. Well, hold on. Anywhere that I go, I'm accepted. If you don't accept me, then that means I didn't want to be over there. I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Being a Mason is a behavior. It's a conduct. It's not something that you can wear. You know, it's nothing that you can wear. So it's strange when I want you to pay attention to something. No one should really have to die in the seat. There should be a few years that you could put in as the leader and what have you. But pay attention to something. I know that when you can say, I'll be worshipful master in 2022, what is the purpose of voting?
Right.
Because if I'm already in the seat, then I know that the next election, I'm moving to the next seat. You know, because they call it a line in Prince Hall.
Right.
I'm not speaking anything foreign because I know who's going to be the Grand Matron in the state of Illinois in a minute. You know, so, and I knew when she was going to be Grand Matron a long time ago. So when you're talking about an innovation, you know, that's an innovation to something when you start saying you're next. Well, I go from being the senior warden to worshipful master. 12 months later, I'm a past master. Whatever I did in my 12 months, was it effective? How many brothers did I raise? How many people did I create? You know, what kind of fruit did I bear? But I didn't bear any fruit. All I did was just bring more and more members in. All we doing is just moving members around. So you're saying, well, you know, we got 1,000 past masters in here. Okay, well, what did any of you do?
Right.
You know, when you tell somebody that you're a grand master, you should be able to look out and point out to all of the serious work that the lodges under your care are doing. And if they're doing something, then you can say, yeah, he is truly a grand master because he represents this state, and all of the people behind him took care of business. You know, but it's, you know, people, we have to look deep within the individual, man.
Right.
A lot of people are in a lot of pain, and a lot of people are actors, and a lot of people are using masks to through the order because they didn't have anything at home. And when you don't have a functioning lifestyle at home, you can't come into the order and stand on something.
Okay, and saying that, now, in saying that, what do you think about brothers who receive their symbolic degrees in one day then?
Well, the law of it is you can get obligated in two degrees, but you can't get all three of them. You must be raised in the third degree.
Okay.
I can understand numbers being small and you want to do something. See, there's always an innovation that you can do to protect that. See, if you got all 3 degrees in one day,
right,
but yet you were placed on a probationary status for 6 to 8 months, a year, because I need to know what you've learned, retained, and you can speak on, you can teach, you have met suitable proficiency in these degrees, then I can respect that. But if I met you Monday, you got raised Friday, you got all 3 degrees Friday, and you walking around next Monday with a compass and square on, and you can't speak on anything, I have an issue with that. Because people forget, man, we represent a brand. That's why Masonry has fallen so much, because we letting any old piece of material in there right now. We're not bringing in real good material to make houses not made with hands. We just bringing in anything. You trying to put a piece of aluminum foil on a car axle. It can't stand the heat. It can't stand the pressure.
Bro, it can't stand the heat.
You see? So you have to bring in something that can stand the heat or the pressure. That's why they call it an aftermarket part. And if you don't have what you need, then you're gonna have a problem. You know, you can't use certain types of brakes on a high-end car. You know, so you know that's why they made ceramics.
So check this out. So why do you think that over in England, all of the Grand Masters have their lineage to the throne?
Because it's still. Did you ever watch that movie about the white whale? What was the name of that movie?
The white whale.
That had the white whale. They were talking about Moby Dick. That was it, Moby Dick.
Okay.
Watch Moby Dick. Okay. In England, the same way we do here, but we do it with articles. In England, you know, I'm a Pollard. Oh, he comes from the lineage of Pollard. Those are dignified people. That's why we have slavery last names. You know, when you have a certain, see, Christy Yamaguchi was born here, but that Yamaguchi has a lineage in Japan.
Okay.
Michelle Kwan was born here, but her name Kwan's lineage in China. But you are Hawkins, Jackson,
Duke,
you know, Anderson. You know, we're named after colors, fruits, wood, ornaments. We're named after something. You know, Browns, Smiths from the blacksmiths. You know, and you know we're named after all of these different things because it shows the caliber of people who owned us. So when you speak on, so well, you know, oh, they come from the Hoppensheimers or the Lippenswitch. You know, you can always trace the Jews,
right?
Because their name stood there. So that's why when they called it a pure blood. We've seen all of these different movies. Look at that movie Gladiator.
Yes.
When the man was getting ready to rape his own sister,
Yep.
you're going to make me a pure blood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see, animals are the only ones that do that.
Mm.
We don't do that anymore.
We're not supposed to do that anymore.
But we did it when we were in biblical times.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Hell, they
we don't
still
really,
doing it now. Come on now.
correct, and much of that is misunderstood with some of the history with Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
because it shows some type of relation. We so split up, you don't know who you sleeping with and creating a baby by.
And
You
that's the
just think
funny
something
thing.
wrong with you.
They used to tell you before you got married you needed to get a blood test.
Yep.
But I don't think they
Yep.
do it anymore. But yeah, for
No,
sure. For sure.
because you don't know if you're marrying your cousin or not. You
For
know.
real.
So,
But I
yes, sir.
think that's Albert Jackson. Brother Albert Jackson said, as a Mason and as a brother, we need to stop beating up on each other and respect each other as men. If we can do that, we will see the real light in masonry.
Well, I agree with that in ethic
Mm-hmm.
and moral.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that's not a taught behavior from non PHA people.
Right?
Only Prince Hall is taught to beat up on others. They're
Ooh.
taught that. They're taught, a lot of Prince Hall are taught to shit on the next man who ain't with them.
Oh, okay. Now we hold on. Time out. There are some Prince Hall brothers on this feed.
Yes, it is.
And I want to hear that from because I know what I've been told.
Now,
So
a brother, I'm sorry.
with them being on feed, I want them to say, "Hey, is this true? Is it not?" Because it's coming from them.
Now, a brother just told me that I was welcome anytime. That's true. I may be welcome there.
Uh huh.
But let's be very clear. Invite me to a Prince Hall Lodge
Mm-hmm.
and let's have Masonic dialogue, but also invite those of your Grand Lodge to the same meeting, and they know that I'm not from there, and see what happens.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Because you took an oath, you took an obligation that you would not talk. See, I'm considered a clandestine Mason to the Prince Hall organization
Uh
of
huh.
affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
So having me in your meetings is going to be detrimental to your longevity,
Right.
not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've always said. I don't have a problem with brothers that love me. That's Prince Hall. I got a lot of brothers that I know that's Prince Hall that love me, male and female.
Mm-hmm.
And we talking this, that, and other.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't talk to me around other people who have your livelihood in their hands.
Whoa. Okay.
See,
Okay.
we can't continue to talk bad about John G. Jones and him talking about he was suspended for contumacy. Do you even know what contumacy is?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I read that. I read
these
that
brothers these brothers are committing contumacy all the time.
all the time. Yep.
But see, John G. Jones, his nickname was called Indignation,
Mm-hmm.
which means he would snap in a heartbeat.
Right.
He put a lot of things. He put a lot of things under one banner for our protection.
Yeah.
You know, he changed certain emblems for our identity. You know, but but our desire is to be accepted by the white man,
So we
not
change
respected
things.
by him.
Hmm.
Yes, we want to be accepted by everyone other than our own. You know,
Uh-huh.
we want to. You know, you can be outraged at Rodney King being beat on out in them streets, but you can look out your window at niggas beating on one another and
Mm.
not say a word.
Mm-hmm.
You just want the white man to suffer. You don't want real equality. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to. You don't want to honor that. You don't want to honor that at all. You
Mm-hmm.
lip boxing. You
Mm.
talking boxing. You just saying things because it sounds good. You know, you don't really want to honor that. We meet, part, and act the same way because as soon as you leave, you having secret council meetings with another brother about how horrible your worshipful master is. But when you get into the meeting, you don't take the opportunity to go to the altar and say, "Listen, brother, you are our representative in this lodge, and we have problems with certain things that you're not getting done that we want done. We want to do this, that, and the other. And this is what we need you to do. We can't exist without you. So we care less about who's in office or how long you're in office. We just want you to represent us in a better way.
Right.
You know, so what is that we don't do the charitable work. You want to collect money. You want to collect money. You want to have one charitable event where you went and donated something to somewhere that you didn't see, and feel good about yourself. Civic duty is not a one-time thing. That's all the time. So, like I say all the time, you know you want something, and you really don't know how to get it by being proficient in your work. So what you do is you want to prostitute yourself for a hat or a seat or a degree because you think the man in leadership has the upper hand. See, one problem that people have always had with me, I can talk to anyone. I don't care nothing about your seat. And if you wanna bless me with something because of who I am, because of my work, then I'm good with that. I appreciate that. I earn that.
Right.
See, I love appointed seats because that means you put me there based upon my merit and my character.
Right.
But see, elected seats means I'm in your hip pocket. And now you think that if I don't do what you want me to do, you can take me out of that.
Now check this out. Now you know that when you sit in the East, you wear the some would say the top hat or a crown of some sort when you sit in the East as in a Masonic lodge. Now, what is your opinion where that comes from? And I'm gonna give you mine.
Oh, the top hat?
Yes.
Well, the top hat, even coming from Africa, the leader always wore a crown. It's emblematic of a crown.
Okay.
And the crown always represents the status of leadership. It's like sitting in the penitentiary. The man who ran the penitentiary sat at the highest part on the steps.
Right.
Everybody else had rank and file. And you couldn't go up them stairs unless you talked to certain people. You couldn't go up there. You couldn't sit up there unless you talked to certain people. You know, sisters and brothers don't realize what emblematic that is or what representation that is, even with wearing the collar on their necks.
When see, that was gonna be my next one, but I had to bring that out because a lot of brothers don't know why we wear the top hat when we sit in the East. So I had to pull that out because one brother was like, "Well, Brother Hawkins, you should ask more questions." So I'm just pulling some things out that people have actually posted. That was just one of them. The next one was going to be the collar. So go ahead and enlighten us on the collar.
You see, the collar has different colors. You have a silver one, and you have a gold one. The gold one always represented a grand officer. The silver one represented the subordinate. You know, people should be able to look at you from a distance and tell who you are without having to walk up on you and read your collar. Okay. Just like your apron. Your apron should be able to tell everything and every degree that you've had based upon how it looks. You know, you should have dignity and pride in your appearance. Does your appearance command respect? You know, you got sisters that have crowns on because they can afford it, that make them look like they are supreme officers because they want to impress. You know, you should look and carry yourself like the first lady of the president. See, how does the Eastern Star not make Michelle Obama her representation of character and grace as an Eastern Star, as an adoptive right member? How are you still coming in and looking like you off Soul Train?
Ooh,
I shouldn't be able to see your thong through your outfit.
You know what? You know what? You know what? Did you just say the thong, bro?
Yeah, you shouldn't have on hoe heels in your in your outfit. You know, so there's a certain character and decorum. We don't have that anymore. You know, how are you looking? You to the club and come to the lodge looking the same way, but that's a prayed over consecrated building.
Now, tell me this: is there ever a proper way to wear the Masonic apron in public?
Yes.
Okay.
The Masonic apron should always be blue. I'm sorry, all white. No one should ever know that you have a different degree than an EA at a funeral, and other things, because you're at a ceremony and no one out. It says that you will not be able to give a character or letter unless you had a Masonic function. You know, but you know, when you have, let's just say you have one brother and he's out there in his Grand Master's apron, and then everybody else is in all white aprons. Everybody in there knows, okay, well, he must be the head. But there's always one who wants to say, okay, well, I'm next in line, you know, or I'm this, that, and other. You know, it's like, okay, a prime example, bro. In the jails.
Bro, you showed me throwing the jails up. Come on.
In the jail system, other gangs know who everyone is in the other lines, because the leader is always the last person in the line in that row. So if it's 40 people in line and I'm the leader, if it's 27 people in front of me, you know that everybody behind me is either not in my gang or they're in another gang. And the only way you can find that out is so if something goes so, you know, well, we got 300 in the jail. 250 of them are Crips. 50 of them blood. So, you know, are you trying to problem? See, if you can't act the same way when you have the numbers that you do when it's just you by yourself, then that's that's cowardice for me. You know, that's cowardice for me.
Now, my question to you is, do you have your own Masonic library?
Yes, I do. I have, I collect books. I download books. I have some books that I have at home, but I download a lot of books from history. You know, I have a lot of different books. Number one, people don't know that my father was born in 1916.
Okay.
So my father was raised in 1950.
Okay.
And I have his white apron, but I took his white apron and I added on a lot of things.
Drink some water, bro. Drink some water. Drink some water now.
Yeah, hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
So while he's having a little scoop of water, if you got questions you want to pop up, just go right ahead. Put them on up. We appreciate it. Oh, Brother Albert Jackson said that mainstream masonry don't teach you that you should hate another brother amongst their own. That may be true, Brother Jackson. But let me tell you.
I have a lot of, I'm on a lot of Masonic pages.
Hold on just a second, Brother Jackson. I'm going to say this here because I'm on some of them pages too. And this is not to bash or call out anybody, but I'm going to say this. If my thing is that when it gets heated, those of us who are of the same color will come. That's still my brother, period. I don't see that happening in a lot of these groups that I don't think anymore. And it bothers me that we just side with somebody else right there. Because then when you in another group and they jump on you, you want somebody to come to your rescue. No. That's not how it's supposed to go down. And like the brother said earlier, you know, and I often say it all the time, we should be respectful of each other, especially us. But what happens is when we find ourselves in these different groups, you want to side with the other person. Oh yeah, look at his picture. They have taken my picture. I must be a fan. Boy, they'll take my picture and put him up in certain groups, Brother Jackson.
Yeah, I
And
remember you said that.
I watch and I'm like, really?
Let
Go to
me
my
point out
page
something.
and now that's a man.
Let me point out something.
Mm,
Um, I'm in a lot of the Masonic groups that I'm in are the cigar groups,
mm-hmm.
and I've met some very good brothers, and you know, need them for something, or if I have something, I do a fundraiser, or I'm doing something, they will inbox me and say, "Well, listen, brother, I want to support you," blah blah blah, and so we do that. But I have run across now. Brother Briggs said that he's a fellow craft. I can't say that things are different or things are taught after you become a master. Um, Whatever you do at your own respective places, I applaud that. I'm not even going to say give it time.
Mm-hmm.
I will say keep your eyes open, because I've had brothers from out of the country. I've had brothers from Japan. We were all tight. Different places. We all close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm specifically saying that there are a lot of brothers that carry the Prince Hall affiliate, the PHA banner, and they speak down about everyone who is not mainstream or PHA.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we've had pictures posted, and brothers, oh yeah, they clandestine. Brothers saw my 96-degree certificate, and it was in another group, and the brother, it was like, oh man, what, he was asking me about some different Masonic college stuff. But this is a white guy, and so a brother gets on there. He's from Prince Hall. He's from Barbados or in the island somewhere. He ain't been in the group 2 days, and he said, oh yeah, they clandestine, So I was like, well, but you don't even know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You have no knowledge of what it is that I'm doing at all. You don't know what body I'm in.
Right.
There's more than just York Rite and Scottish Rite. And you don't know who has dispensation to do anything. Thornton Jackson was a 96-degree Mason.
Yes, he
but
was.
He went across that water. He went across that water to get it.
Uh-huh.
The only thing was, like, people don't understand, Jarvis brought the dispensation back.
Right.
He wasn't the first person back here with it, but he brought the dispensation back.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you bring authority back, then you're able to do something. Just like Ollie Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Ollie Spencer got his 97th degree because he went over there across that water. He met with different people and did this, that, and other, and he gave them that authority. He got John G. Jones recharted.
Yeah.
Over there.
He would. Yeah. I would say this in regards to Ollie Spencer, who's the President General for the General Grand Masonic Congress for his jurisdiction. I would say this: the man travels internationally now.
Yes, he does.
Overseas, he actually went back over there, and he actually have amity with the National Grand Lodge of Romania. There are two National Grand Lodges of Romania, and he has amity with one of them. And he does. I give it to him. I applaud.
And we got amenity with him. I got pictures with the grandmasters from over there. I got pictures with you've seen that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. We
and another thing, you need to straighten that.
Uh-huh.
You and Jarvis, y'all need to straighten that.
Oh, I already talked to Jarvis. What do you?
Okay, so you need. I know. I'm just saying you need to be that national representative, that we get this thing together and get that out there to California, so we can have that West Coast affiliation.
Okay.
So there's so much more to this organization than just 33 degrees.
Right.
And if you rely on Albert Pike to be your government of the Scottish Rite, you're in trouble. Mason is what you put in it. If all you see is partying, if all you see is loose women, then that's all you're getting out of it. But for you entered apprentice, for you fellow crafters on the call, and you getting something out of it, that's the purpose. To have assets around you, to have assets around you, not liabilities. You're a fellow craft, so that means you have a particular type of working tool.
Right.
And in that working tool, you use those working tools. It's not just about the orders of architecture. It's not just about the sciences. It's about what you are able to the Black Masons, form, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I propose that a lot of these different Grand Lodges meet. We're going to start being together. We want to find out, let's just say,
with that.
Yeah, three different congresses. Let's just say 3 different congresses.
But everybody ain't ready for that show.
Hold on a second. If 3 different congresses, we get together and say, okay, we meet between these dates right here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we all change these dates and find us 8 specific days that we can meet to hold all of what we do throughout these days? We have 1 or 2 days that we have a greet, hospitality, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And we lock down these 2 hotels. Now, since all 3 of us congresses, we have Grand Lodges in these 3 or 4 states.
Right.
All of us got them, but we got them in different states.
Uh-huh.
All 3 of these states, New York, Chicago, LA, we all three of these cities, we have bodies in there. So for the next 6 years, every 2 years, we'll meet in one of these states. During those 2-year gaps, we'll be trying to find out through the other states who can be able to hold us and represent us. Because I personally believe that if you don't have a Grand Lodge in that state, you should not have a Congress meeting there. Because who's opening up? Let Los Angeles open up for the hold their seats. We had a meeting. You're the whole do. So then we have to change something, because we can control a lot of the costs, a lot of the hotel fees, et cetera, if we have the entire hotel, like you've seen us in February,
right?
500 and some odd rooms, and we may have 498 of them.
Right.
So we've been there so long, have a lot that a lot of states, that a lot of bodies don't have, because they don't have those numbers.
Right. Now check this out. Now, in saying that, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody ain't ready for that show.
Correct.
All the Masonic Congresses, they can talk a good game. Everybody ain't ready for that show. That's the best show.
Yep.
And everybody is not ready. They're just not ready. And it's disappointing.
Because much of it is like I said before. If you didn't come up with the idea, you mad. You know, you didn't come up with the idea, so you mad. And that's what's happening. So, why is it that you need to come up with the idea in order for it to have been something that we do? And I've gone through that. I come up with an idea, bring it to the floor, and brothers want to poop on it, but then somebody else will come up with it, and it's, oh man, that's all right. So I had to realize what the messenger was the messenger. Hey. You know, you really don't want, you have an issue with me, so you really don't want to hear my good ideas, but somebody else who you don't have an issue with, you'll respect what they say. So I'm okay with that. Here's a prime example. I want you to think about everyone that's on the call. If you have at least 200 men, and I'm not talking about men seniors. Right. I'm talking about 200 men who are working and are dues-paying members. Let's just say you don't have a body. A Grand Lodge. How is it that 200 men cannot come up with a certain amount of money in 1 year's time if they do it themselves. Because this is what it's called, the 52-week money challenge. 236 men can raise almost 300 some odd thousand. Since 300 some odd thousand sounds like a broad number, everyone on the page knows what $250,000 is.
Right.
So now, remember, I ain't brought the women up yet. $250,000 by 236 men, 52-week money challenge for 52 weeks. Every Saturday for 52 weeks, you put $1, $2, $3 amounts every week, all the way up to 52 weeks. So when you get down in the month of December, those 4 weeks you putting in $52, $51, $50, and $49. So you putting in $200 in the bucket just for the month of December.
Right.
So you generate almost $1,400 per person every year. Where can you go in any state with $250,000 and cannot get the respect you need to get a building and maintain it? And you ain't asked the women for a dime, and you still got $100,000 to outfit the building.
Bruh, I hear what you're saying, and I'm not trying to be the opposition, but I'm just saying that, man, it's common sense, but everything ain't common. It's what you're saying is absolutely right. But you know, you and I both have seen some things in this thing we call Freemasonry. But check this out. So, Brother Jackson stated, Brother Hawkins, I need to ask you a question. Are they positioned what lodge they are from? If they are not posting what lodge they are from, you know what time it is. So, Brother Jackson, not you, Christopher.
I know you're talking about.
I just want to know, is he asking that brothers post what lodge they're from? Is that what you're asking?
No. Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Just as a buffer, it doesn't matter what lodge brothers are posted from. It doesn't matter if brothers are on this call, ear hustling, learning, looking for something to talk about or whatever. Every ball you throw up in the air comes down the same way.
Right.
You have to have a balance in everything. All that I'm concerned about with anything that we're doing is that some brother gets some type of idea to help his learning. And if that happens, then we've done a good thing. Now, to talk about what you just spoke on about all brothers ain't ready to do that. If you present something that what should immediately happen is one of two things. Either you leave and take the body that wants to do proper work and do better, or you get rid of who's telling you no. Because listen, if you shoot down something that will keep us out of the red, I assure you, by the time election comes around, you won't be here. And I'd openly say that.
Right.
We trying to do this, but you, because you the leader, you saying no. Okay, no problem. You do that. But when election comes, you won't be here. And we're going to put somebody in here who wants this to happen. That's why I'm a staunch advocate against innovative bylaws that try to keep or make only certain people authorized to vote or to be in office.
Okay, now you said that, and I'm going to tell you what we do here in California. When you say innovative bylaws, in California, we believe, and it's in our constitutional bylaws, that every Master Mason has a right to vote.
Correct. That's
Period.
law. That's a landmark.
But you know as well as I know, in some jurisdictions, they only allow the principal officers to vote.
Well, the principal officers, me personally, I believe that the worshipful masters should be the only one to vote for the Grand Master. The past masters could and should have a collective number of votes, but they should never. The past masters should never be allowed to vote for the Grand Master, because if you have 12 lodges and 12 worshipful masters, but you got 37 past masters, the past masters outnumber the worshipful masters by 2. So the past masters could always control who the worshipful masters are, and the past masters are has-beens. They're used to be.
They used to be.
They are not. They are not government, and they don't represent the Grand Lodge.
Correct.
They are part of the Grand Lodge, but they don't represent the Grand Lodge. You know. So it's just there has to be some normalcy. You have to look at what's consistent, what people are actually doing, and what works. You know, so you look at who you have as your government body, as your principal officers. Look at your past master. You know, why do you have people in office who don't have any type of who don't know anything? I'm not talking about knowing the ritual. I don't care nothing about you reading a book in the opening of a ritual. That don't impress me, because you stand there and you can rattle it off on your own. You know, oh man, he said it verbatim. He didn't say, he look at him.
Right.
He just speaking. He speak. Oh, he knows. Yeah, he should be the grandma. No, I want to know, who do you know? Do you know any aldermen? Do you know any of these pastors out here?
Right.
Do you even know the neighbors around the Grand Lodge? You know, do you know this, that, and other? You know, it's straining to me when you to base your work, your body of work, in the order to get elevation to anything, and it's specifically based off of things that you've done. You know, you shovel some snow, you cut some grass, you taken out some garbage, you wipe some windows down, you mop some floors. That's labor. I get that. I'm talking about the labor of knowing and being able to teach this order. Can you be called upon at any point in time and say, listen, we want you to go to California and represent this Grand Lodge or this lodge in a lecturing, in a forum? See, I read that in scripture. I had a brother from Knights of Pythias used to tell me that. He said that they all studied a particular way, because when you met people from out of town and you were speaking, the things that you spoke on told the body where you were from, because they all spoke about a certain thing. Or, you know, if you know how, if you can point, I used to use the saying, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Right.
You got 100 people in your lodge. You talking loud. You boast of all the membership. But when I look around, I can't find 4 of them that can represent like 25 of them. Because see, you ask for people when they're EAs and fellow crafts to be proficient in their work, to study, to show thyself approved. But no sooner than Brother Briggs become a master mason, and he's talking about stuff that is different than what is normal in there.
Right.
And he's making people raise their eyebrows and study and look at things and see things differently. Now he becomes a problem. See, when you don't do what everyone else is doing, you're called an outcast.
Right.
And now you're going to be a problem, because I think you want my seat. See, I used to hear that. I had a brother, Tommy Ingram.
Oh, you gonna call him out? You gonna call his name out?
Yeah. I had a brother, Tommy Ingram, my partner. He told me, he said, man, Brother Jackson, he said, I had brothers used to tell me to be weary of you, because they used to tell me, watch out for him, because he's going to be trying to challenge you. You can't find one individual on this side of the Pacific Ocean to tell you that I've ever tried to challenge you. I may ask you some questions to see where your thought process is. Because how you see Masonry is different than everybody else on this page. Everyone has a different walk and zealousness in how they see the order.
Mm-hmm.
Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. God may be a soldier to you, but he may be someone who's meek and humble to me, because all I know is bedlam, debauchery, and decadence. So I need God to be someone who's peaceful and forgiving to me. But you may have always seen nothing but peace and tranquility and dandelions. So you need a God who's about pure bedlam.
No, but Drew Ali.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's people are just they don't do it that way. So, I don't ever want people. Brother Jackson said, no.
Hold on.
I gave you. Go ahead.
No. I apologize for cutting you off in the middle, but I just read some brother Finley asked, do we talk about the golden circle? So the golden circles is like our rows of the seven seals. And and it's on the same statue as a brother who will receive his 33rd versus a sister receiving her rose, and a member of the Order of the Prince Hall, they receive they go into what they call the golden circle. Now, Brother Finley, that's what I know. Now, if you know something a little different, I don't mind being corrected, or somebody can share some more information with me.
But what's the purpose of speaking about women sisters of auxiliary of the 33rd degree? Well,
his thing is that do we ever talk about them? And I personally have talked about the golden circle versus the rows of the seven seal, which is their equal parts in different jurisdictions.
Yeah.
So
royal ladies, all of that. Yeah. So,
right.
Go
ahead. I believe that was his question in regards to that. I don't know if he was composing that to us. I just came across it, or was it to someone else?
I saw it. No, I saw it in there. I saw the question, but I mean, I don't. It's it's an open page,
right?
So speaking about it is fine, but if it's a female body and you're not in it, what's the motive?
Well, they're just like some of these brothers are not Eastern Stars, and I know they're not Eastern Stars. That's why I talk about the sisters, but I don't go necessarily into their works. Like I told a sister once, I don't know if you can see that or not. What is that? You shouldn't. You don't even know what it is. And I told her sisters, you don't have working tools. So why are you even going that route?
And sisters don't hail, and I've heard women do that before.
Yeah.
Where you hail? You don't hail from anywhere. You adopted.
Absolutely.
You don't hail. You have no recognition signs. You only have one, and that's what they're taught when they get the Queen of the South. So you can't do things. You can't innovate things. You don't ride a goat. But I
heard a sister say that. I'm like, where did you get that from?
So I but it's like I said, it's an innovative practice, and we venture closer and closer into trying to equate the women with us. See, one thing now, since we on the women, let's deal with that. I really hope there's some sisters on the call.
All right, now we going on 2 hours, bro. I think I'm gonna cut it off at about 2, but go ahead.
Okay, all right. When you're dealing with any auxiliary house, once you have really grasped what the Queen of the South and the Amaranth is, everything else is additional but amplified. It's about the comprehension of what Makeda was and who she was being in the land of Sheba. A sister's obligation is to become Makeda-like.
Okay.
If she's doing anything other than that, she's mistaken in the order.
Right.
You become you're called Sheba for a reason, because of who she was in leadership. You're not called Sheba because that's her name.
Mm.
You're not called Solomon because that's your name.
Uh-huh.
You're called Solomon because of who he was in his wisdom,
Right.
in his walk. You know, but you
see,
know,
that goes right back into teaching
versus telling.
Absolutely, because I've learned this lesson. I was in a chapter meeting, and sister, we was doing some work, and the sister said, "Well, we've been told." I was like, "No. Who told you that? Did you read it? Is it in the book? Can you point?" No, they told us. I'm like, "Who?" Well, the older sisters. No. And that's what happens to us a lot of time.
Remember I said that to you?
Yeah.
We say, well, I was told, well, Tony told me, right. I know he told you that, but he didn't teach you that. He told you that.
Absolutely.
You didn't research that. You read that and you repeating it. That's what you did. You didn't research it. You read it and now you repeating it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that kills them. And I say this to brothers and I say it to sisters all the time. When you are approaching each other, brothers to the sisters, if you are not an Eastern Star, don't hold them up. Don't try to Q&A them. And to the sisters, when you're greeting a brother and he's not an Eastern Star, don't try to make him look bad. Just meet and greet in peace and be done.
But that's the first error. Because, see, in real Masonry, no sister ever greets a brother as an Eastern Star. Because she will grip him and not know if he has his OES degree or not.
But you and I both know.
No woman should ever greet a man. He's supposed to always greet her first.
He does.
Because then she'll know when
if
he
he's
grips
Eastern.
her.
Yeah.
Exactly. When he grips her, he'll say something, she'll reply it back, and you go from there. All the rest of that whole how you doing so and so? She'll say something so and so. I always thought that a brother was called Solomon and a sister was called Sheba.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew you didn't get that until you got your Queen of the South or a man's OES degree.
Uh-huh.
I had a sister shoot me a sign for 5 minutes until she actually just said, "Brother, why you keep ignoring me?" And I had to play it off. Sister, I was thinking about something else. I was focusing on something else. I didn't know you was doing it. And so I didn't know until I was forced to make a move and get my OES degree, and because I had to be the administrative patron to get the worthy matrons their degrees, and I learned all of this stuff, and I was like, "That's what she was doing," And so because I used to take the Queen of the South ceremony, and it's really like a play.
Yes,
and
is.
I became a part of it, and so they used to have me do that, and I did it somewhere else, but I would do that. And because I could read the way that I did, I was familiar with the whole administrative degree process. I don't necessarily believe that when you're reading something to teach it, that it should be done in short form, because you leave a lot of things out. But even if you do that, you have to come back and explain a lot of what you said so people can get it. You do a severe disservice, and it's a hypocrisy to think that all it really is just 3 degrees and everything else is honorary. Because if that's the case, you wouldn't be trying to get them. So, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish up, because I got another question for you.
Okay. They are called capitular degrees for a reason. They're called appendant degrees. The 3 degrees are Blue Lodge, ancient craft. The ancient craft has a particular way of going through its procedure. So
a question popped up. They texted me too, brother. A question popped up. How did the ancient Egyptians picture Osiris?
How did they picture? Oh, he wasn't like the European, doesn't?
No. And I got my own answer to that.
The 48th problem of Euclid is really of that Osiris, Horus, and Isis.
Right.
The 48th problem of Euclid.
And I'm gonna share this with you. You're absolutely right. And they pictured him also as being the all-seeing eye.
Correct.
Boom. So for the brothers who asked that question, how did the ancient Egyptian picture Osiris? They pictured him as being the all-seeing eye. And brother Christopher, go ahead and interject again. You said what else did you add to that?
About the Osiris.
Yes.
You know, I was saying that's on my. I made an apron with the 48th problem of Euclid on it, and it has Osiris, Isis, and Horus on the blocks down at the bottom. You know, it's a lot of there's so much about the ancient craft that's been bastardized and weakened down that that people don't they study it from the European perspective and not ours.
And okay, another question came up. Why did all the ancient buildings contain a system of a Masonic mark on them?
We were all because that was the operative work. All operative masons, because well, number one, just with all of the master masons, were the ones that knew it all. You put your mark on there. You know, this was my work. When you inspect brothers, this is good work, true work. You know, and that's what that esoterically means.
Okay.
They all the buildings had some type of architecture, on there. You know, so.
Okay. Well, I'm just hitting them up as I get them. So if anybody else want to text me, no, don't text me no more. No, don't text me no more. I guess they can't get them up, so they're hitting me up on the text side. So look, brothers and sisters, if you're on tonight, we're gonna get ready to lock it down. We've been on here, I think, 138, and he said something, the fourth degree. Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna get ready to lock it down tonight, and as I say, all well. And as I say always, all well. As I say always, definitely keep your light on and stay out the bushes. Brother Jackson, I just want to thank you for the shout out tonight again, man. I appreciate you coming on, and we're going to keep this rolling for a little while, you know, with you coming on and definitely having some good conversation in regards to Freemasonry. So look, any of you out there tonight, pass the word on, you know, hey, have brothers to check the page out, subscribe. We hey, this is a little different, I think, than any other Masonic thing that's going on. I think this is just a little bit different. I want to keep the vibe going, and if anybody wants to be a part of this show, definitely reach out to me. I'll have you on. We can make this happen. And as I said before, brother Christopher Jackson, I challenge the Prince Hall think tank. If any of them wants to come on the show, we can have that conversation.
But have a form, have a basis, because don't come on the show and all you want to start talking is some rehearsed jargon about who's legitimate and this, that, and other, because it can get even deeper than that.
It's true.
If we're going to do as what I call it, we're going to sling some shit. Please be clear. I have the original history of who said yes and who said no to you. How you for 200 years went through something and then, you know, it was like, okay, fine, you know, because it's basically in written form. You know, I have authentic books. We're not going to discuss that military lodges were illegal. They were irregular back then.
Well,
you see, it's a whole lot of things that people really out there. That's why I say I don't like doing that muckraking.
Okay.
If you Prince Hall, be Prince Hall. All I want to know is what work you're doing out there in the society.
Right.
What kind of a better man have you become being in the order?
Right.
When you took your blindfold off, were you really a new creature? That don't have nothing to do with Prince. That could be anybody. Are you a better individual because you keep the principles of life with your compass and square on
That's
you?
it.
Are you a better individual? You know?
And that's my challenge. My challenge is definitely, hey, you know what? I'm tired of beating the bushes saying, you know what, you over here, you over here. No. You know what? Stay out them bushes, stay in your own lane. But if you want to have this conversation, let's have the conversation. Prince Hall Think Tank and anybody else out there, mainstream, Grand Lodges, whatever. Let's have this conversation because the elephant in the room, everybody just want to tremble. No, nobody here is trembling because there's an elephant in the room. And that's no doubt about that. So, Brother Jackson, you got any parting words before we get ready to sign off tonight?
No, I just, as I say all the time, I thank you, brothers, for listening. I hope that I was able to help you with something, or what have you. I don't know it all, but what I do know, I know well. And if there's anything that I don't know, I can just go on my notes and find it.
Absolutely.
Some topics of conversation aren't productive for me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't help me at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always speak about simple mathematics.
Right.
I'm either going to add to your life or I'm going to subtract from it.
Woo.
I'm either going to multiply your life or I'm going to divide it.
Mm.
Whatever I'm doing, it has to equal out or it's wrong.
That's it.
That's the same way they taught you in school. It has to equal out. So that's how I get down. That's how I'm always get down. I am that I am.
Ooh.
And I am who I say I am.
All right. We're going to leave it right there for the night. So thank you for coming on. And hey, share the page. Have anybody to subscribe to the page. This is how we get down. And
Yes,
till
sir.
we meet again, peace and be well. And stay out them bushes and keep your light on. I'm out.
All right, bro.
All right, later.